Hello, my name is Noor and I'm a graduate from TEFL Online Pro. In this video, I'll be talking about my experience since graduating from the 140-hour course, my job at teaching English online, and looking for work abroad. So I completed the course in August 2020, and straight after completion, Paul was there to advise me on which avenues I could go down. At the time, we both thought that teaching English online would be most suitable for me, so he compiled a long list of online companies where I can teach English and the links to apply. I went upon researching each of them to see which one would be best for me. I applied to a few, and within a few short weeks, I received an offer to interview and I secured the job instantly. This company called PalFish is where I teach younger students, and my favorite thing about it is that the slides are already prepared for you, which is fantastic if you are kind of struggling on where to start. With PalFish being a company for children, they are quite specific. For example, you do have to have or make your own colourful and engaging background in your classrooms, and you do need to use props, which is quite an investment but a easy barrier to overcome. A week after securing the job with PalFish, I received another offer from a company called Prepley, which caters to students of all ages. Because teaching English online is very flexible, I knew I could juggle both jobs. So with Prepley, I do have a lot more autonomy. I do have direct communication with my students, so I can find out their needs and tailor lessons to them. And although the site does have pre-prepared lesson topics, I also have the freedom in creating my own lessons on PowerPoint, which has been successful for me thus far and is good preparation for when I teach in an actual classroom eventually. So although I was satisfied with both of my online English teaching jobs, I still did have the itch to travel and work abroad. So I turned to Paul about any opportunities in East Asia, and he responded with information about teaching in South Korea. And I was really excited about that because I was already somewhat familiar with the culture. So teaching English in South Korea, there are two avenues. There are private schools called hagwons, and there are public schools under the government organization called epik. Paul advised me to apply directly to epik rather than with a recruiter, which I'm glad I did because I got to have direct and instant access and communication with my coordinator. The application with epik was fairly straightforward. You fill in your details, your education history, your teaching experience if you have any, and you upload 2 reference letters. I did have some concerns and questions about the application, so I turned to Paul, I emailed him, and he reassured me instantly. The second stage of the application is essays. So you have to write 3 essays, but they are 400 words each, so they're very simple to complete. The questions are: why do you want to teach English in South Korea? What is your teaching philosophy? And the last one is: how do you overcome cultural barriers? And then the last stage of the application is the lesson plan. So you have to create a lesson plan for any grade of your choice. I gained inspiration from a lesson plan that I had sent to Paul as part of my 20 hours of practical teaching in my course that he approved of, and I just adjusted the lesson to the application requirements. So shortly after, I received an interview, and a few hours after the interview, I was informed that I had passed. My interviewer became my coordinator, who I could refer to and ask questions, and he would update me about the intake process. After passing the interview, I had to send a number of documents over to South Korea to be considered by the provinces of education, which I did find overwhelming gathering the documents together, but did become very manageable over time. During this time, I also managed to connect with a community of teachers who are also going through the epik process through Facebook and a Korean messaging app. And it felt really comforting finding teachers that were in the same position that I was. So after your interview, a few weeks after, you receive final approval from a province or a metropolitan city choosing you to teach at their schools, which is then when you begin to start your preparation to move abroad. So currently I am in the midst of receiving final approval and waiting for my contract to arrive so I can begin my visa process. I hope to arrive in Korea in August, and I hope to teach in the Gangwon province. I wouldn't have been able to secure 2 English online teaching positions and feel reassured about my application to epik in South Korea without the help of Paul. And I am extremely grateful, and to anyone who is considering about working and teaching abroad, my advice would be to just 100% go for it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope it was informative, and goodbye.